Good morning everyone, I'm Alessandro Comerci. I'm a senior trainer at CABL, Conti Advanced Business Learning, a company specializing in influencing and negotiation. Have you ever wondered why certain contracts, especially long-term ones, 5-6 years, feel like a jail sentence as opposed to a walk on a nice beach with your supplier throughout the life of the contract? Well, today we're going to talk about a personal example that I lived through, which is actually quite unique. I was actually negotiating a contract with one supplier, which was a long-term outsourcing contract with an asset divestiture. And later on, my company decided to split a part of the business. So this contract became two separate contracts with same terms, with the same supplier. The outcome, because I moved to one of the companies being divested and I saw both, both outcomes, I can tell you that the outcomes were very, very different. And what I learned through this very unique example that makes it different is, first of all, is the spirit with which you enter the contract and you leave the contract every day. Remember your strategic intent that led you to make that deal to start with. One company was focusing on growth, outsourcing complex activities which they didn't have assets for, and they got the rewards from a growing business of going faster to market. The other company, in reality, wanted to exit long-term the manufacturing asset and leave this contract really as a prison sentence and wanting to get out of it as quickly as possible, which made the relationship very, very difficult, especially when business suffered through COVID, the volume went down, penalties were triggered. This contract ended up being a disaster that had to be renegotiated. Now, how could two contracts that are essentially the same with two different companies during a long period of time, like 5-6 years, can end up being so different? The key lessons that I want to leave you with are: one, the contract is a starting point and is not the end of the journey. So you don't forget about the relationship, nurturing it, and asking yourself to create value every day, and how can I create value every day, as opposed to, oh my God, I must do this with this supplier and I'm stuck for another 5 years. So the spirit and the strategic intent are essential. The second is you need to build in clauses for the rainy days and for the sunny days. Spell out clearly in the contract what happens if things go fantastically well, and what happens and how do we deal with the uncertainties and if things don't go that well, because that helps the parties deal with it when issues arise in a much more collaborative and clear way, predetermined by the contract. The third and most important aspect is, how do I walk onto this bridge with my supplier every day with regular check-ins during the contract? How do I maintain that close collaboration and discussion? And how do I actually make sure that the parties every quarter, every semester and every year of this contract are still getting what they expected strategically to get from this contract? Regular check-ins, regular business reviews, management reviews. It's a relationship. So if you want your contracts to really, really live and live well, together with the relationship to grow and thrive and the benefits to be better off for both companies, you've got to remember these three important things. The contract is only a starting point. You need to live with a good relation throughout the contract and build clauses for rainy days and for sunny days. If you're passionate about these topics or negotiation and influence, you can actually visit the website of www.cabl.ch. You will find a lot more there. Thank you very much for listening. To the next.